Well, that would be terrifying if 140 countries were all reliant on Chinese currency.
That would be. And we don't really have any kind of recourse. Like we talk a lot, but we're really being bullied pretty well now. The Wolf Warriors and their propaganda team, I said this, to someone, I always try to think of what job would I want to have since I could really kind of do anything. But I thought, I can create good, sayings. You want Wolf Warrior? I'll do something like really creative, and I'll get a bunch of people and give me a team at NSA, where my ex-husband used to work, or CIA, and give me a team, and I can do what the Wolf Warriors do. Now they have millions of, they have thousands of people, but I did apply to be an advisor to the administration. I didn't get that position, but I don't know that I'd give up my work. I kind of like my work, but I always think, what would be like, how can I use my knowledge to help? You do a great job in what, but I'm just me, right? So I don't have, like all of you to do that. So I have some valuable people who support me, but there's some kind of pushback that needs to happen by people who can come up with really good messages that can help explain what the United States or what citizens need to do and what's happening in China.
See, this whole time I was actually imagining you as the star in the next Jack Ryan movie.
Like as like a CIA analyst.
Yeah.
For a CIA analyst, he sure gets into a lot of
trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you do have contacts at the CIA, for us as a team that's supposedly funded by the CIA, we haven't seen a single dollar. So if you can make some calls for us.
We are not actually asking for money from the CIA. It's a joke.
It is a joke.
Well, I did work on Capitol Hill, and I worked for President Reagan. So, a long time ago, I did get involved with politics for a while. And then I decided, just to be a college professor. And now I'm a mentor to young people to help. I always say, Isaac Newton once said, if I see so far, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants. And I can only hope that I can be that giant that other people stand on, so that they can see far, because I was born in the 50s. I'm not I'm not young like you guys. Right. I just want to be able to do what a good citizen should do by making people aware.
Yeah, and we like to stand on the shoulders of giants too. Like, for example, someone like you who's actually really smart and writes, all these books, and then we just rip off your material by presenting it on our podcast.
Yeah, well, you're welcome to do that. In fact, you're welcome to take anything from my books and put it anywhere you like. So that's an offer, because I'm not, Amazon pays me $2 for every book I sell. Like literally, they pay me $2. So like, I'm not making money at this. I'm doing this because I feel like I have a duty as a citizen to do this, right? So I don't understand how Amazon can only pay me $2 per book, but that's the way it is. And so if you want to take the anything that I have in my books, you're welcome to.
Well, I think that's what's interesting about what you have chosen to do, because obviously, to a great extent, like most people, especially in the United States, don't really know about what China is doing or the Belt and Road. This is kind of a failure of not just the media, but politicians as well. And you have made the choice to focus so much on writing these books specifically geared towards sort of the average American. So why do you think that is the key?
Because we don't why? Why? Because the Beijing Olympics are coming in 2022. Because no one really knows why 180 human rights groups have called for the boycott of the Olympics. They just don't understand it. Why? Because if China goes into Taiwan and takes Taiwan, and they take the Senkaku Islands on the way, we have a mutual defense treaty with Japan. We're in there too. So this is the very real possibility that we could all be at war. is greater than people think. And yet nobody knows why. People don't understand what these treaties actually mean. And they don't understand what would happen if Taiwan fell, right? Just watching the microcosm of Hong Kong is just horrifying. I mean, if I could meet Agnes Chow, I'd probably just break down crying. Like, can you imagine that you have all this hope for Hong Kong and you are, multiple languages like you, and then you're just put in jail, right? Why? Because you want to be free? I don't understand that. I don't think anybody in the United States understands that either. This is the problem. Because if we can't reach the average person to understand why we may be engaged in a war, whether it's the South China Sea with the Philippines, whether it's because of Japan or anywhere else, that the hotbed, it says raging waters, but the hotbed, my book says raging waters, but the hotbed is really, South China Sea and East China Sea. And it's dangerous right now. And the danger is on all of these people that have no idea what is happening in the world. And if I could get people to read a book, because there are lots of pictures and because it's just easy enough to read, I would love that. I would love them to read any part of it. I have a really good chapter on piracy that I think, people would think is really fascinating, on where the pirates went and why, how China's protecting its manufacturing resources in the maritime Silk Road because of this piracy. But there are things that people could latch onto and be interested in. So I'm going to find every single little, that's really curious thing, like social credit. Social credit's fascinating to me. I mean, I could read about social credit forever. Really, you're going to go in and you're going to follow everything that's on my phone, track everywhere that I've been, and you're going to give me demerits or you're going to give me positive vibes, because you're not going to let me get on a train because I let my dog poop on the park. Really? I don't really understand this. Social credit, if we ever had anything like that, or it moved to other countries, this is back to your digital Silk Road. It's really dangerous how much control a country could have, an authoritarian country could have, if they control everything that you say and do. Your phone tells you where you are. Right this minute, I'm in Palm Desert, though I don't always live here, but I told you I live in a hotel. So wherever I am, that's where I am. But right now, my phone knows exactly where I am. Imagine that we have that kind of control over a person where they can't use their money. You want to go back to that digital currency? Here we go. If your social credit score goes down, you can't access your money. This is where it's really a problem. Your money is all digital. If it's digital, you can't get to your money because in China, they control whether or not you can get the money out of your bank account. I can only imagine what's happened to, Jack Ma, who were silenced, or whatever you want to call it. You can't get access to all the money you have. You can be the wealthiest person in the world. I'm not going to crawl into a silo and get my, bags of nuts. I'm not ready to do that. But I do think that there are threats to our world and we should be aware of them. And the regular person should be too, because we could have a war and their kids are going to be in that war.